All right, everyone, welcome. It is Monday, and you are listening to Nichols Live. Nichols Live, and I am Larry Nichols, so I hope everybody's getting settled in. I hope I didn't step on the music thing intro. Got a couple of announcements. They're good news. They're exciting, I think. First, let me give the listen-in line number once again for those of you that have people that want to listen, but they want to do it through the phone. It is 401. Hold on, I'm getting a text already. All right, I think I'm on. I think we are on the air. You're live. All right, I got it. We are on the air. Just making sure, folks. All right, listen. The phone number for the Listen Live line is 401-283-6754. That is 401-283-6754. When you get there, you press 1. Press 1 for Channel 1. Channel 1, that's the channel we're on with leadingedgeradio.com. All of this information, you can go to the website, to the Facebook site, Larry Nichols, Conway, Arkansas, and get it off there. Now, today we were going to be able to take calls. We're not. Matter of fact, we're probably going to go 2 weeks because we have a great addition to the program. We have a person who's going to edit the program. We're going to be able to take calls. It's going to be a great format, better than we've had ever. And I want to thank Alden for working so hard to get it up and get it done. The reason we're not going to be on next week with it, with that system I'll be on doing what we're doing now, is because he'll be going on vacation when he gets back from vacation. Then we'll be up and running. But let me tell you what he has already done. You can go to YouTube, Larry Nichols Live, on YouTube, Larry Nichols Live. And a few hours after the broadcast, the program is up on YouTube. So you can tell people today, they can actually go and hear Friday's program on YouTube. Go to Larry Nichols Live on YouTube. Now, there's also a Facebook account for that YouTube channel. It's called Larry Nichols Live. It's simply there so that you can get information about the YouTube channel, maybe even make comments or whatever. So, folks, we're coming on strong. We're coming on strong. Now, today, again, if you want to get a message or a statement or ask a question, text me at 440-897-0611. That's 440-897-0611. And then I will be able to read and say your question over there, your comment. So, let me look here at what I'm getting. I got a thing, you're alive, buddy. Start. Well, I hope, Greg, I have started. Once again, we want to thank Leading Edge Radio for giving us this chance for us to be together. And I want you all to know, though the program's called Larry Nichols Live, this is our program. Yours and mine. Yours and mine. You got it? It's not me. It's us. The title that we use on the YouTube channel is Building an Army to Save America. Building an Army to Save America. That's why you come to this program. And then the subtitle is Fighting Propaganda. Oh my God, is there propaganda to fight? So please take advantage of the YouTube channel. If you cannot be here live, I hope you're always here live. Now, today, just so we get it out of the way, today is the day that we have, I need you. You don't have to. I need it. I need you to help me hit the 800 mark. And remember, $800 on Monday, $500 a day, and then Friday's $1,200 to help get through the weekend. Okay? So if you can ding that PayPal, please start dinging it ahead of time. Ding it early so I don't sweat. Because I don't know without it how I do it. I don't. And I will tell you, to all of you that have sent, I'm just beyond appreciative. You've kept me where I can do the program. And I hope you hear the difference in me versus last week. And that's partly because they've changed the medicine, and partly because I didn't get the treatments last weekend and then Monday, and you see how quick I go down without them. So if you can, please ding that PayPal, nicholslive@aol.com. A lot to go through today, a lot. I would suggest, if you can, to get a pen and paper. There may be some things you want to take down. Some notes. Not because I'm noteworthy, but they're just some things you need to look for. First off, and it is on my Facebook page, it's on our Facebook page, there's an article by General Maley. He's one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He put out a speech to one of the military academies this weekend. What is significant about that speech, as will be promoted, all right, I got one. Try to answer my question today. Kind of send that question again today, because I got several days have passed since I got it. So, listener, please send the question again if you don't mind, please. And I'll try to answer it. He made a speech, and he told these young warriors to be, you will, during your time, be fighting, of course, terrorism. He said that. Then he said a couple of things that are going to be weird. He said you'll be fighting transhumanism, and you'll be fighting little green men. Now, terrorism, transhumanism, and little green men. Now let me tell you how that's going to be picked up by many, many alternative programs. You got it? This is what it's going to mean to many alternative programs. I'm not going to name people. Transhumanism, they're going to say that is looking at, these bionic humans that the military is going to be making. That's not what he's talking about. What he's talking about, I believe, without actually being in his head, what he's talking about is basically computer warriors. People that are using the computer to attack us. They'll have to fight that. But his little green men comment, how many of you think that general was referring to aliens? Space aliens. That's what's going to be carried, space aliens. Don't you put that out, please. Please don't pass that around. Oh gosh, this general on the don't put that out. That's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about little green spacemen, as will be carried by many of the alternative people. It'll make us look stupid. It will. It'll make us look not credible to people we're trying to get on board to help us save the country. What he's actually referring to, there was a Russian general who made a talk or published an article or whatever, talking about soldiers in the Crimea in green uniforms with masks, carrying weapons, which are basically Russian weapons, but they did not get them from Russia, so he says. They got them from the Crimean military. Those little green men wearing masks. He's referring to them as Spetsnaz. If you don't know what they are, you do not want to have the pleasure I've had of meeting those guys in combat. I have. They are formidable. They are the best trained soldiers next to ours. That Express-Not is their word for their Green Beret, or their SEALs. The tough. They're extremely tough. And what that general is saying, these guys will be going around in green uniforms, carrying Russian weapons, wearing masks, but they will not be affiliated with any country, no country of origin. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what he's talking about when he refers to little green men. So are we clear on that? Do you have that down? Because you're going to run into that as you go through the internet and you're talking to people, listening to alternative programs. They're going to be telling you, we have a member of our Joint Chiefs of Staff has actually said our soldiers will be fighting transhumanism, which they're going to construct to be, or say they're bionic soldiers, and they're going to be fighting space aliens because he referred to them as little green men. That is not true. The truth is what I told you. The green men are Express-Nots, Russian, Green Berets, former as he tried to lead on, but they're not going to be former. They're going to be real deal. But they're going to be running around with uniforms of green, wearing masks, carrying Russian weapons, but they will not be anywhere on their uniforms connected to any country of origin. Get that straight. Please, get that straight. We are the place, if we're going to grow an army, we've got to fight, as I say in the subtitle of the program, fighting propaganda. Don't you see? That General Miley knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that choice of words would fire up the alternative world. He knew it would make everybody in the conspiracy world go conspiracy crazy. He knew it. That was a psyop, psychological operation, designed to make us go crazy over something so that they can make us look like fools. That's one thing today. Second thing today, you hear about Trump and Cruz. Looks like Trump's going to win Indiana. And you're hearing every day and more each day now that as Trump, if he wins, and he should, Indiana, that he will have the nomination fairly well sewn up, and even Republicans that have been resistant to him are starting to come on board. You hear that, right? You know that. Once again, I tell you to proceed with caution. They don't want Donald Trump to be president. Now, I was told over the weekend by a person high up in the RNC what would have been something really spooky and secretive if I told you today, except that it's been out on Fox News. I saw it on Fox News. They talked about it. And here's what the RNC has going on in the back rooms. Yes, they know it's going to be very difficult to stop Trump now from getting the nomination. But remember what I told you. Remember what I have told y'all since the beginning. The establishment would rather have Hillary than they would Donald Trump. Well, there is a movement underway inside the RNC to give it to Trump, let him have it, but in the interest of protecting the party, protecting the integrity of the party, they might be funding a third party. You see, a third party candidate, they know if a third party candidate could draw 6% away from Trump, the victory's academic to Hillary. 6%. Now, we will probably never know. We'll probably never know, since you have all these super PACs that are able to get money, spend money, send money, and it's not trackable. We'll probably never know for certain that the RNC hierarchy was behind funding a third-party candidate. Well, who would the candidate be? I wonder if it might be Ted Cruz. You know, there's a couple of things with Cruz that bother me. Why would he announce Fiorina to be his vice president nominee when, to be honest, he looks a pretty good ways away from getting to be the nominee? It seemed a little crazy at the time, but we all thought maybe, I guess he was firing some kind of Hail Mary to get to be, you know, to help him get him votes or whatever. I did not. I don't think y'all did. I did not think in terms of maybe there was another plan in the works. Maybe there was something else there. You see, this weekend apparently, Chuck Todd, on whatever program he's on NBC, pressed Cruz if Trump got the nomination, would he support him? He never said he would. Never said he would. Now that is not totally a shock, but it was the way he did it. So, if the RNC wants to pull a dirty trick on Trump, if they have to give him the election, do not be surprised if Cruz and Fiorina don't break off and form a third party and be funded by the super PACs, of course, to which we'll have no idea where the money comes from or where it's going. All right, folks, it's time for one of our 3 commercials. Today, I have nothing as yet. Let me look. Nothing as yet on PayPal. Please, if you can, today's number I have to hit is $800, and I know that's a tough hill to climb. I know it. But about an hour after I leave this program, I have to have that so I can go over and get the treatment for today. If you can, please start dinging PayPal. Please. Now, there's about 3,000 of us listening. Please, if you can. Please, if you can. Oh, yes, and I was asked, because of new listeners, Larry always tell to send as a gift, not for products. Always, yes. When you go to PayPal, and if you are sending something, please make sure you punch the click button or whatever you do. That's for gift, not for product or purchase. Please. So, with that said, I'm asking, who can help kick it off now? Who can help kick it off, please? We got 800 to get. And if I don't get it, I don't do the treatment. And it's pretty tough when I don't. So, folks, please go to PayPal. Go to Nichols Live at AOL.com, please. And send what you can. We've got to hit 800. I need to hit 800. I don't know how we do it, but we do it. I have no idea how we do it, but we do it. I just got word from Greg a few minutes ago. We were 15 ahead at Friday's total. I don't remember what it was, but it said the number's growing. People are starting to tune in. It's climbing now. Great. So, please, if you can, will you please? Now, let me go to the question that a listener had asked last week. The question is, what if the military can arrest Washington? How can this happen? Listener, all of you, it cannot happen. It cannot happen. Do you somebody keeps calling, I'm sorry, I don't know why they don't realize I'm on air. It cannot happen. The military cannot arrest Washington, or you hear all these people that are out on the radio saying, well, you know, former retired general such and such has got a plan. They're going to go in and arrest Obama, and they're going to arrest all the members of Congress, and they're going to save America. No, they're not. No, they are not. Do not, listener, buy into that or believe to that. It cannot be done. If it were to be a process of arresting them, it would have to go, I hope all of you know, at least through the Justice Department. If it's against the president, it would have to go through Congress to get, like I did against Bill Clinton, an impeachment hearing first and then a trial. So, listener, please, whenever you hear that, stop them. That's not going to happen. The only way the military could, quote, end quote, arrest Washington would be a coup, a military coup. And that would be where the generals and everybody gets together and they get all the soldiers, all the tanks, and they just literally invade Washington and take it over. And that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Okay, here we go. We have received 200 of the 800, and it came from our good friend Bob, which he is not supposed to send anymore because he helped me this weekend because of a minor emergency surgery I had to have. Bob, dear God, thank you. Dear God Almighty, thank you. So, we talked about the little green men. Another thing that you better watch out about. Now, let me give you a little background for this. Do you hear me? Now, this is one where y'all have got to listen to me. Do you remember last week? Somebody text me the answer to this. Do you remember last week me telling you something that I wasn't supposed to tell, but that there is a dirty secret having to do with one of the 5 major banks? Do y'all remember that? Somebody text me. Do you remember me saying that? Do you remember what we talked about? Hypothetically, I just said there's a nasty rumor that's going to break out about one of the 5 major banks in this country. Now, in addition to that, remember what I have told y'all about? Didn't come from me. Came from a meeting with the FDIC. When the FDIC said, if you'll recall, in an article, you'll recall, I believe it was from Reuters, that the FDIC didn't have enough money in reserve to protect investors. I'm paraphrasing. Basically, I think it said it had enough to cover maybe 2 of the major banks. Anything more than that, and it was broke. Somebody text me. Nobody's texted me yet. But did you get that? Do you remember that discussion? Now, assuming some of you do remember what I told you, because, folks, I have to speak about this in kind of a weird way. I just can't tell you why. I just can't come out and say it. I just can't. Today is a significant day because today the number seems to vary, but Puerto Rico is in default for somewhere. All right, I got it right here. Yes, this is from Alden. Yes, I remember that. Thank you. So I got somebody. Puerto Rico is in default somewhere between $420 million to $470 million, depending on which news agency reports they're being not able to pay their payment today. Today, they couldn't pay it. Could not meet it. Now, I want to explain something. That 400 and, I'm going to use 470. That 470, Chris said she did. Okay, that 470 million is not the debt. 470 million is the debt service. Here we go. Yes, we remember. Got that from Janine, I think. Good. And Oh my God, Carla. I'm going to tell you what she sent me. She got it. And remember that 470 million is debt service only. Debt service. Debt service. Meaning that's just a payment. That's just a payment. The total debt Puerto Rico owes is $72 billion. Write that number down. $72 billion. $72 billion. Now, I'm going to kind of just play a pure hypothetical. Are we together? This is hypothetical. What if one of our 5 major banks was a major holder of the debt that could not be paid by Puerto Rico? What do you think would happen to one of our 5 major banks if they were holding the lion's share of the debt? Now remember, 470 million, you say, well, that probably couldn't put one of our 5 major banks into default, could it? Well, not 470 million, but for them to have, if this were true, hypothetically, if hypothetically one of our 5 major banks was holding the lion's share of the 470 million defaulted payment, then that would mean what? That would mean they hold the lion's share of what? $72 billion. Now, Carla did a great job. She sent me a text, said nationalization, negative interest, repatriation. Now, what does that mean? Remember what we talked about. Nationalization is where the government comes in and takes over the banks. Says that, you say that can't happen. Well, they came in and took over health care, they took over education, and go tell me they can't take over the banks. Just saying. Just saying. Negative interest. Negative interest is a phase in a restructuring of the financial institution that if the government had to take over the banks, then, Federal Reserve would say, hey, this dog ain't going to hunt, so what they're going to do is they're going to put negative interest. Negative interest does not mean, as one person said on my Facebook, does that mean my house payment will go down? Do I need to refinance? No, your house payment's not going to go down with negative interest. Negative interest means simply they're going to charge you to keep your money in the bank. You're going to pay them to keep your money in the bank. Repatriation. That's where the government, in the interest of saving the country, just has to literally go in and take everybody's money out of the bank. Just claim it. And use it to supposedly pay the nation's debt. Now, I know some people will say, Larry, you're out on a limb there. That can't happen. Well, here we are in this hypothetical still. But this isn't hypothetical. Have any of you seen the commercial with the older lady from Puerto Rico asking for help? Do you know what she's asking for help for? She's begging us to help. Because if the government takes her money out of the bank, that's all she has to live on and to retire on. What that woman in that commercial begging us to help Puerto Rico, for us to get our congressmen and senators to back a plan for us to pay and bail Puerto Rico out. She's saying if we don't, paraphrasing, I'm leading you into it, she's saying essentially if we don't bail out Puerto Rico, guess what? They're going to come in and take all of our money out of the bank. And she'll be left with nothing. Well, that's Puerto Rico, right? That's Puerto Rico. Larry, why are you telling us about Puerto Rico? Because that ain't us. Like Greece wasn't us. Poland wasn't us. Or Portugal, whichever one of it. That wasn't us. Why are you telling us about that? Well, first off, I'm telling you about that because what is Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. It's not the mainland. It's not a state. But it's the next thing to it. It's a territory. It's time for my second commercial. Thank you, Alden. I forget. All right, folks. I have gotten one text of somebody helping. And that was Bob. He sent 200. We're 600 away. Can you please help me get it? 600. 1 hour after I leave this program, I've got to make a call whether I can get my treatment or I can't. And folks, I don't want to come back tomorrow being in the shape I was in last Tuesday. And I don't think you want me there either, because if I do, I'm just not coming on the air. I just can't do it again. The pain is too much. I'm too weak. I just can't do it. I just can't do again what I did Tuesday, and I was of no benefit to you or anybody else Tuesday of last week. So please, if you're out there, it's Nichols Live at AOL.com. The money's to help me get the treatment. That's all I can say. I mean, what do you mean to say? If you're there, please help. And there's a lot of you out there. I just wish some of you don't have to send 200 like Bob. Just please send something. Because 1 hour from when this program ends in 28 minutes, I got to say, yes, I'll come or no, I won't. I can't wait beyond that because then they won't have the stuff ready for me. Please help if you can. Somebody lead it off. Somebody please. It usually takes 1 or 2 people to ding the dinger, and then it starts. Back to the program. Puerto Rico. Now, as I understand, Ted Cruz has already said we ought to go down there and bail out Puerto Rico. We need to help them people. When you hear the government say we need to bail out Puerto Rico, what they're actually saying is you and I need to bail out Puerto Rico. That's our money that they're going to take from us. And we are already in a world of hurt with debt. You know, we hear numbers like we are 19 trillion in debt. That's not right. That is not right. The 19 trillion is just that's the debt that we owe, that's committed for. We're somewhere around $200 billion in unappropriated debt. Things that Congress has passed, but the money hadn't been appropriated. There is no money to appropriate. What are we going to do saddling up to $72 billion of additional debt, Ted Cruz? All of you members of Congress, tell me, what are we going to do to our 19 trillion? How are we going to add, I said 200 billion, it's 200 trillion, 160 trillion technically, in unappropriated debt, which means we owe it, we just haven't set it up yet. What are we going to do when we add 72 billion to that? Oh, that's nothing, right? When you're in the trillions, what is 72 billion? Well, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, if we don't bail out Puerto Rico, me and you, if we don't take money out of our children and grandchildren's mouths to bail out Puerto Rico, then what's going to happen? That lady in that commercial, they're going to go in and take her money out of her bank account. They are going to nationalize her money. Okay, I got Carla. Bless your heart, honey. Carla sent $10. Carla, Thank you. You've already done enough. Now, Christopher, thank you, sent $5. Thank God. And Christopher, you had asked me about, God, I can't think what his name was. You asked me if you had my right email. You do. I'm just not good at sending emails back. But Christopher, yes, you have my email. That's me. Please, y'all, we are somebody with better math than me. We are at $215 into 800, whatever that leaves left. Please. Thank you, Christopher, and thank you, Carla. What happens if we don't bail out Puerto Rico? That lady, Puerto Rico, is going to nationalize the National Bank of Puerto Rico, and they're going to take that money of hers. They're going to take her money, and she knows it. She knows it. Chris, thank you for $10. Thank you so much. We're now 225 away from 800. Thank you. Now let me ask you, back to this hypothetical thing. I'm just saying. Don't nobody go out of this program and say Larry said, because Larry didn't say. I can't say. I can't say because of the commitment I have made. I cannot say it. Alden, 10, thank you. Alden's doing enough in production to help us, and bless his heart, he sent 10 more. But think about it. What if, I almost messed up, what if one of our 5 major banks is about to face a collapse of Puerto Rico declaring bankruptcy? And one of our 5 major banks in this hypothetical gets caught up in the lion's share of $72 billion. Now, since we're hypothetical, I can only pipe dream. I can only think about it out loud, okay? I can only think about it out loud. In thinking about it, I can see something like this possibly occurring. Maybe you can as well. Puerto Rico goes down. It goes down, causes one of our 5 major banks to get in a heck of a lot of trouble. Then the FDIC says, hey, we said we could withstand 2 major banks going down and have the funds, and then the nasty secret about them comes out, and that is that anybody that has money in that one major bank of the 5, they don't even have the money to cover that. So those people are going to lose all their money, and then you know what happens? Everybody starts going to their bank trying to get their money out of the other 4 banks. Then, oh my God, the economy is in trouble. Oh my God, what do? What would our government do? What would our government do if this hypothetical scenario were to manifest? What would our government do? Just got word from Greg, real clear. Politics has Trump 10 points over lying Ted. Yes, they do. Maybe Ted don't even care no more whether he wins the nomination that way. Maybe he's already got a deal. Oh, you say, well, they can't do a deal like that. Oh, I'm sorry, did I not see last week or last couple of weeks a deal between Kasich and Ted Cruz where they worked together supposedly, but they really didn't? Don't tell me what the RNC can do when it wants to do it. By the way, thank you all. I was told by my friend high up in the RNC, Nichols, your name was used with a lot of cuss words this past weekend in a couple of meetings he was in, 3 or 4 meetings actually. I said, what did I do? And he said, let me tell you, buddy, they don't like you. I said, what did I do? He said, well, because they're talking about all those phone calls. Oh, okay. He even went so far to say, is they're so mad at me over those phone calls that they're looking and legal action against me. I said, well, if they want to do that, they just need to come on. They just need to come on and do it. You see, folks, we're having an impact. This army, I just got a text. Larry, I cannot get this PayPal to work. I've called it, said it should work. I have 40 for you. Thank you. Please try again, or somebody try to help this person, please. I don't know what to do. They got another one that says, for the future, if you let me know, I can use Western Union, what you need. My bank is just so small, it won't pay PayPal. Janine, I may have to, but please, let's try to get it from everybody first. From everybody, please. Well, do you see where I'm going with this hypothetical thing that I can't really tell you about? Do you? What happens when that happens? What happens to all of you? Look, guys, we have an army. My job with our army is, number one, tell you what I can. Tell you what I can. And let's do what we can to save this country. Why is it hard to take our country back if Iran and Iceland were able to do so? Yet no one knows. People don't even know the Rothschilds and the other Zionists that own the Fed. I know. Oh, wow, do I know. You see, listener, and for all of you, it's not that hard to take our country back. What is hard is getting people in America to get their damn minds off of football, sitcoms, movies, all the things that are out there that seem to be more important than our country. That's what's hard, listener. It's not the act of doing it. And you should be able to know just our limited numbers that doing what we did caused the shakeup that was heard. It was heard. And before we're through, it's going to be heard a lot more. A lot more. My job is to help form an army, use force multiplication, which y'all know what I'm talking about there. That's where each one of us become 5. Look at me. Look at force multiplication. I am 1, correct? Really, I'm 1. But through you, I'm 3,000 or 4,000. Me, 1. Now I'm 3,000 or 4,000. And I'm going to use 4,000 for math's sake. And you, through force multiplication, by calling where we need to call, when we need to call 5 times, you're 20,000. And then that 20,000 becomes 200,000 in the minds of the people we call, because they think, well, gosh, if 20,000 people feel this way, there's 20,000, 200,000 out there that feel the same. Who's the guy who couldn't get it through? Listener that couldn't get it through, right after the program, I'll get someone to try to help you if it's okay. Right after the program, I'll try to get someone to help you. I'm not going to put your number out over the air, so please hold on. Somebody will come. Help us save the country. Be an army. Be an army of believers. That's all I got to have. I just got to have people that believe. I got to have people that know in their heart that we can do this. And we will do it if we have enough people who are willing to use force multiplication and knowledge, the real knowledge, not the propaganda. That's why the subtitle of our program, yours and mine, our program, not mine, ours, the purpose of the subtitle is fighting propaganda. That's what we're doing Right now, we're fighting propaganda, talking about the little green men. See how that could get all blown up and blown out of proportion, and gosh, all these talk show hosts will go crazy saying, oh God, now the Joint Chiefs admitting there's little green spacemen and they're going to attack us and they're training our military to fight them. That's not what they mean at all. But that's why they chose those words. And what about you? Am I supposed, let me ask you, well, let me say it this way. If you were in my shoes and you had a few thousand people that listened to you, and there was something you knew about, although you're sworn to secrecy, contractually sworn to secrecy, but it could hurt these few thousand people that you know and love, what would you do? You've all got money out there. Maybe not much. But you know, the amount is relative. If it's all you got, like me, and it ain't but a few cents, that's a lot to lose. What if that scenario were to manifest itself? What happens if you turn into that lady and you're begging your government instead of her begging our government? What happens? Do you think our Congress, if we're begging them, please don't take our money away from us, it's all we have, do you think they're going to listen to us and honor that? No. Well, I got word for my third and final commercial. All right, guys. We're a good $500 and something away from what I've got to have. A good 500 and something away. Will you please, every one of you listen, please listen to me. Will you please help me? 800 is what I got to have. We got to have 500 more. Can you please PayPal? Ding the PayPal. Please. Ding it. It's not, what's wrong with me is not your responsibility. I admit that. I say that freely. You don't have to do a thing. I'm trying to hold the begging down so that we can have information instead of me just talking about what I need. The 3 commercials. And that's what I'm doing. And if I lose, I lose. If I lose, I lose. So if you can, would you please help me? Back to what I was saying, if you were me and you knew something, you don't know with absolution it's going to happen. You don't know with absolution it's going to happen. Let's see what I got here. Hold on. Connie, thank you. I got 20 more. Thank you, Connie. Dear God, thank you. Please, y'all, help. Anyway, I can't say with absolution it's going to happen. But if the hypothetical happens and y'all are all caught and every dime you have in your name is gone, what kind of friend am I? Huh? Now, I'm no financial advisor, so I'm not counseling you to do anything. Are we clear? Are we clear? I'm not counseling you to do anything. I'm not advising you to do anything. I'm proposing a hypothetical situation that now, with that commercial you see, with the lady saying, please don't take our money in Puerto Rico, which means repatriate our money. Now, with the fact that Puerto Rico, which I knew 2 weeks ago was fixing to happen, Puerto Rico's defaulted on a loan. Now, that's real. It's in the news. You can get it anywhere. You don't need me to tell it to you. Now, here's the only part you've kind of got to put in your own thinking. Your own thinking, not me. Who in this world do they owe that 470 payment to in the $72 billion debt. Who could they possibly owe that to? Who? And do you believe in that way of thinking that our 5 major banks, which by the way are the 5 major banks in the world, can you believe that the 5 major banks in our country don't have a piece of that debt? Do you think that? Huh? I mean, if you do, then shoot, don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I'm going to give you one more thing. Nobody else has come in since Connie on PayPal. God, I don't know what to do. I'm going to tell you one more thing. Every day as you listen to alternative radio, you hear about gold and silver. I'm not against you buying gold. I'm not against you buying silver. But I believe that if this economy tanks, cash will be king. Cash. I'll give you a way to think about it. Let's say you've got a gold brick that's worth an ounce, $1,200, let's say, $1,200. You want to buy a loaf of bread, you want to buy a gallon of gas, you want to buy a carton of milk. What do you got to do to buy a gallon of gas, a carton of milk, and a loaf of bread? Huh? Huh? What you got to do? You got a gold little chunk that's worth, let's say, $1,200. What do you got to do to buy a loaf of bread, gallon of gas, and a carton of milk? The answer is you got to convert that gold thing into what? Cash. Cash. And I will say simply thinking out loud, my thinking, not yours, not me advising you. I'm just going to tell you something. You know, you might say, well, golly, if that gold thing's worth $1,200 and the dollar goes down in value because our economy's in the tank and the dollar loses value. Let me tell you something, folks. That gold's going to lose value too, ain't it? Isn't it? See, think about it. That gold is going to buy you cash. And that cash is going to be what the cash is worth. So is it better if you had that gold bar worth $1,200 today and cash were going to be king? Would it be better to get your $1,200, which, by the way, you won't get $1,200 for it, because they'll tell you, well, you can only get spot. So it's going to be, you get $1,000 if you're lucky. Try to cash it. Try to cash that gold bar. Let's say it shows gold worth $1,200 on the stock market or whatever. Try to cash it for $1,200 and see if you get it. You won't. You might get $1,000, and then somebody's going to tell you when you try to get that $1,000, they're going to say, well, look, that's what it is with spot rate, but now when I got it from you and I paid $1,000, how am I going to sell it? I can only tell you what I'd do if I had a gold bar. Me, Larry Nichols, and I am not an advisor. You have no reason No, I will not do this. Bob sent $550. I will not do this. I have told him over and over I'd send it back. This time I will send it back. I can't let one man do this. Not when there's 3,000 or 4,000 people listening. I can't, y'all. I can't. Bob, I love you, and you are more to me than you can imagine. You are. You're something. I just can't. And see, it's like dangling a carrot in front of me. I need that treatment so very, very bad. But I can't do this to a man. I can't. Everybody, please. Go to PayPal and do what you can. I can't. I just can't. I can't. I can't. Message, don't be afraid of the system. We're with you. I know you are. I know you are. Now, back to what I was saying. Me. This is me, not you. I'm not advising you, but if I had that gold bar and it were $1,200 today, and I fear because of Puerto Rico, I fear because of the debt service, I fear because somebody owns that debt and it's got to be somewhere connected to one of our 5 major banks at some level. I fear that it might be the very thing that starts this thing to go into this starting to fall. And best case, my gold bar ain't going to be worth $1,200 in a week or so. So I might be better off to get what I can get now. It's what I think I would do. I think I would do it. I don't have a gold bar, so I can't speak. I can only speak about what I think. Do you understand me? It's very important that you understand me, because word's going to get out, and somebody's going to try to prosecute me, probably the government, for giving financial advice when I'm telling you I'm not giving financial advice, but they're going to try to prosecute me to shut me up. Do you understand that? I mean, everything I say to y'all folks has a risk that most people don't have to face. Not to mention the people I make mad that sell gold and silver. I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm just trying I'm trying to do what I'd hope somebody would do for me. Just explain it to me. Just explain it to me. So that I could understand maybe what's going on that I don't see. Because you're not going to see it in the media. Why ain't I going to see it in the media? Because you've got this campaign going on for president. Everything is buried. Everything is hidden. Everything is hidden. We're going to have an army. We're going to fight to save our country. But before we can fight and save our country, we have to believe in each other. We have to believe in each other. Dear die, Mr. Nichols, I've been living that way for 27 years. It's rough, it's harsh, but it's true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Janine. We have to believe in each other. And my job to help you is to help you protect your family. And I will do that. If they put me in a dungeon, I will do that. And I hope by now you know I'm telling you I will. I'm not going to be held by political speech. Ain't nobody like Loretta Lynch or Barack Hussein, our black Muslim president. Ain't nobody going to tell me what I can or cannot say. By the way, in closing, I'll tell you this. Barack Obama has said he's going to bring in 10,000 more Syrian. Bring in 10,000 more Syrian refugees by 9/11. Isn't that weird? Got this from Alden. I believe in you, Larry. You're a good man. Alden, I am not a good man. I have never professed to be. I'm trying to just be straight with God. That's all I'm trying to be. Why would Obama bring in 10,000 Muslim refugees that we can't vet, don't know a thing about, but use the date 9/11 as his target? What is he doing? Smearing it in our face? Well, folks, we're out of time today. We're out of time. I need you to go to PayPal, please. NicholsLive@AOL.com. Please. With that, I've got to say goodbye. I've got to make a decision on Bob. I don't know. I love you all. I'm just trying to help. Thank you. See you tomorrow, I hope. With that, it's over.